In the following diagram, segment AP is secant to the circle at points A and B, and segment CP is secant to the circle at points C and D. The lines intersect outside of the circle at point P. What is the length of PD? So we want to know what this length is. Again, since there's this x plus 2 in there, we're going to first find the value of x. 2, substitute the value of x in the equation that PD, the distance of PD equals x plus 2. So those are our steps. And again, finding the value of x, they are secant lines and they intersect outside of the circle. So again, it's using this middle one. So the product of the whole secant length times the outside segment. So it would be the whole secant length. Maybe I'll change that. Kind of like this. This is what it would look like. So that's what I'm going to do, because I understand that a lot better. So the whole secant length, one of them is going to be A to P, and on that same secant length from A to P, the outside segment is B to P. So on the other secant line, we have the secant segment, which is C to P. That's the whole secant length. And the outside segment is D to P. So now we have AP by segment addition would be 8 plus 10. And B to P is distance is 10. And then C to P, its distance by segment addition would be 11 plus x plus 2. And D to P is x plus 2. So I'm just going to see if I can simplify some numbers here before I jump over to the my algebra calculator. So 8 plus 10 is 18. And 18 times 10 is 180. And then 11 plus x plus 2, well, I can combine my numbers. 11 plus 2, they would combine to be 13. And then x plus 13, since the 13 doesn't have an x on it, it's not a like term. And x plus 2, since the 2 doesn't have a number on it, a x on it, they're not like terms. So this is what our equation will be. And I can't combine anymore because right now I'm multiplying. So we would combine through multiplication. We'll jump over to look at these steps. So again, it says to expand x plus 13 times x plus 2. If we click here to show the steps, apply the FOIL method is an acronym to remember how to distribute when you have two terms, one term, two terms in parentheses. So the FOIL, the F stands for multiply your first term, so x times x, right there. Outside is for the O, x times 2, so that's where x times 2 comes in. The I is for inside, 13 times x, and L is for last, 13 times 2. So FOIL is just an acronym to remember how to distribute. So then x times x is x squared. 2x plus 13x, since they are both like terms because they both have x's on them, they add together. 2 plus 13 is 15, so we have a total of 15x. And then 13 times 2 is 26. So that's how they expanded that. And that's how they went from x plus 13 times x plus 2 to x squared plus 15x plus 26 right here. So they expanded it. You do not have to switch sides. That's just how this one's algorithm goes. It's not necessary though. So then they subtract 180 from both sides. So 26 minus 180 simplifies down to negative 154. And 180 minus 180 reduces down to 0. So then we are going to solve, since it has an x squared, that's telling us it is a quadratic. So then we're going to solve this quadratic with the quadratic formula, which is given right here. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So then they substituted it. A is equal to 1 because that's the number in front of the x squared. Again, remember it's implied. If you don't see a number, it's always implied as a 1. B is the number in front of the x, so that's where 15 comes from, and C is just the constant, so negative 154. So then they substituted it in, so wherever B was, they substituted it in with 15. Wherever A was, they substituted it in with 1. Wherever C was, they substituted it in with negative 154. And then they would simplify. And this is how they would simplify that. So you can expand this if you would like. And then the final solutions would be x equals 7 or x equals negative 22. There will be two options. So now, since we're talking about a distance, I'm going to say that x is going to be, I'm leaning towards that x is 7. Because distances cannot be negative. So that's how I'm going to eliminate this option. And then we would substitute the value of x. So x was 7 in. So the distance of PD would be equal to 9. And that is one of our options.